you claim is yours. A vicious cycle and nothing more.
All right, welcome to another episode of Eazy-Sez-It. We're here with a fellow tattoo artist, a good friend, Adam Gilley.
How you doing?
Doing great, man.
Hell yeah.
Fuck, dude, this is exciting to have another artist on, man. I had Josh on our last one. We got into some really cool stuff. One of the reasons why I was really interested in having you on is because, like Josh and myself, you not only tattoo, but you're into other arts, man. You're into music. You're into, your physical art, like painting as well. And I think it's really cool because you can get a nice, just nice discussion, man. It's nice to talk to artists that just extend themselves out from what they typically do.
Right.
You have a shop. You have a shop that you opened recently. What's the name of it?
Insidious Studios.
Out
of Burlington.
Cool. Burlington, Wisconsin.
Yes.
You're the only shop out there, huh?
I am, yes. I am the only shop. The other guy closed his doors, and somebody told me, like, yeah, you're now the only shop. I'm like, hey, that's cool. And I'm not like a walk-in shop. It's it's private, but still.
It's got to be exciting. It's like back to the old school days of
I
don't have a shop within like a block of
Right. There never used to be a shop on every street corner, and now there is,
Yeah. That's cool, man. It's cool that you're going to have more people like commuting to get tattooed by you.
Yeah, and honestly, I was worried when I first moved out there. It's like, all right, how many of my clients are going to stick around? And how many are going to be like, yeah, dude, that's just too far? Because some people are weird. They'll think 40 minutes is too far away. Where, you and I will be like, dude, if I had the money, I will freaking fly to another state to get tattooed by somebody.
Yeah. I've noticed that with tattooing, what's happened lately is, like when I first started back in like 2011, when I first got into a shop, artists, they really didn't talk to each other. And instead of having like more of a specific artist that you went to, they had a shop that they went to. They said, you can go to that shop, get tattooed by anybody, it's going to be fine, which is true for most shops. But now it's more like the artists are their own business within a business.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're just more, they're just more like committed to their artist, the same way they would with their barber.
Right.
So yeah, I feel like more people are traveling, for their art. And even out of state, there's some badass artists where people are saving up their money, they're hopping on a flight, and they're cool with it. Those are really good collectors to have. How long you been tattooing now?
Professionally, I've been doing it for almost 10 years. And I guess altogether, almost 20.
Jesus, bro.
Yeah. So
20?
9 years was just out of the house, tattooing friends, like just making some extra cash on the side. Wow. It was one of those things where it was like, my parents wanted me to do tattoos. They're like, you're really good at drawing. You should. And the drawings that I did were definitely right up there with tattoos, the same style-esque. Yeah. I would be drawing designs for people to get tattooed by other people before I was a tattoo artist.
That's cool. That's cool that you've been doing it that long, because like I still count those years before you get into a shop, before your apprenticeship, as years of tattooing, because you're still having interaction with the skin. Yeah. If you're smart and actually into it, you're learning your mistakes, and it's all part of the process. And 20 years is a long time, man. I'm at like 17 and a half now. Yeah. And I tattooed for like 6 years before I got into a shop.
No shit.
And that was finally in like 2011, and just been grinding since. It's so crazy to think that we've been tattooing more than half our life.
I know, it is pretty wild to think about it. And it was by accident. It was nothing I ever thought in a million years that I'd do.
Yeah. What's interesting about your story, though, is that your parents encouraged you.
Yeah, where a lot of parents frown upon that shit.
Dude, when I first started, I was like 14 years old. I was like poking stuff in my leg with a safety pin or a sewing needle, pen ink, doing stuff like that, and just really hiding it from my family. And, my dad and my stepmom, they have tattoos. My mom has tattoos and stuff like that. And I kind of grew up in a, at least with my mom, more of like a rock star lifestyle. And then with my dad, like he would take me to concerts and stuff like that. And, he was buying me Slayer stuff.
That's
and Lamb of
badass.
God, so for them to also still be like, I don't want him doing that. I still had to keep it under wraps. And, eventually they found out that I was getting tattooed. Wanted to take, I had a fucking shitty pentagram on my chest.
Did you do that yourself?
Fuck no, dude. This guy that, I was dating this chick, and her brother, he was getting into tattooing at the same time. I had a CD player motor.
Oh,
machine.
wow.
His mom got him like equipment, because out in Arizona you can tattoo like 13 with a parent.
Right.
You know, their laws
No
are completely
shit.
different. So like they were a little bit more open to it, and he was really big into art. So I would leave school early. I'd get picked up, go to his house, and then he'd tattoo me on his coffee table.
Wow.
And it just looked like shit, but they found out about it, and they're like,
You can't hide that forever.
yeah, I was hoping at least I was 18.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I had a cell phone, and I had some pictures of.
That's
of,
how they found out?
They found the phone, and they're like, lift your shirt up, and I was like, I already know where this is going. I'm not gonna do that. And they're like, you got Satan on you.
Oh, I can imagine.
Yeah, they went to take me to like a laser tattoo removal place, and I was like, I'm not doing that. Like,
They were gonna go to that extreme.
we went to the mall, and next thing I know, we're at a laser place, like trying to get me to do a consult. I was like, no.
Yeah, I like this. I don't care what you say. I don't care if it's garbage. I don't care if it's Satan. This is what I wanted.
I'm not a devil worshiper. I'm a Satanist.
You're right. It's a difference.
It's different. Not anymore though. So did you go through an apprenticeship?
No.
Yeah.
I was self-taught, and then when I was getting my sleeve done, I would watch him and how he poured his inks, what needles he used, what machine he was using, how he'd lay everything out. And honestly, just by watching him, I learned like how to shade, how to not do outlines, you know, for shade, you know, how a lot of people would start out with outlines.
Yeah, just like the more realism look.
And then white highlights. I was like, oh my God, that makes everything pop out so much more. How come I didn't think of that?
One thing I like talking to artists about, just with like the changes in the tattoo culture and everything, and with access to information on the internet, do you think apprenticeships are necessary now? And what's your view on apprenticeships?
Apprenticeships, I mean, I've seen a lot of good artists not come from an apprenticeship. I've seen good artists come from an apprenticeship, but you got to really be careful on who you're getting an apprenticeship by, because people steal your money and not teach you shit. So, I mean, and then you got YouTube right now, which is, and I still will look up tips and tricks on there and watch other tattoo artists. I feel like it's easier now without an apprentice than it was back then. But if you can and have the money to do apprentice, why not go to a really good artist that's down to teach you the right way? That way you'll have that head start, you know, where you and I had to figure it out by ourselves, doing a bunch of crappy work on people and understanding that we are taking on stuff that we shouldn't be taking on. You know what I mean? Until after the fact, or while you're doing it, you're like sweat. And you're like, I shouldn't have done this chest piece. This is way too hard. Or ribs, like the lines are all botched. And I'm thinking, this girl, there's no way this girl's going to be okay with this.
Yeah, it's you bring up a good point about it being based on like where you're getting your information from.
Yeah.
Because, you know, nowadays with like everybody wanting to do stuff on the internet, there's a lot of like professional guys that don't see being gatekeepers as a good way to do things. You know, the more access to information, you know, the faster things grow.
Yeah.
And you know, the shitty thing with like tattooing obviously is like the fake skins aren't good enough. It's not real.
They don't apply. You know damn well when you're shading on a fake skin or even doing line work, you're going over it and over it and over it until you finally start to see the shading or the coloring. And you're like, if this was somebody's arm, it'd be complete hamburger now.
You just see your tattoo on their x-rays.
Yeah, for real. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like that. All the like the pound of flesh and, you know, stuff like that. It's more of like a portfolio thing or like a piece of art than really like something you should use for learning. Because I mean, I think it puts a lot of strain on the machines anyway to have that type of resistance. And I mean, nothing's like skin. You know, nothing's like skin. So, you know, knowing your limits it's a really big thing, because, you know, with like tattooing, sometimes you have to take on things that are a little bit up there that are within reach, you know, but just like shooting for the stars.
Yeah.
You know, like a couple years ago, I made a post because I saw a lot of people that were just like taking on shit they shouldn't have. And I made this post, and like a quote in it is, your skin is not my sketchbook.
Yeah.
You know, I thought that was cool.
Hell yeah. I think I seen that post.
Yeah.
And for a moment, I was like, "Is he talking about me?" Like, did I do a tattoo I shouldn't have done? Because I remember that Dimebag Darrell one I did. You were like, "Dude, That is such a bad tattoo. I don't like it. It shouldn't be up on the website. And I was like, God damn it. I really tried. That was a tough one.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough when, I mean, obviously with like portraits and stuff like that, because people know what someone's supposed to look like.
Yeah.
You get away with it a little bit more if you're doing like a portrait of like Freddy Krueger.
Oh, yeah.
You know, something to where it's like, you get the point.
Right.
But, you know, it's just limits and stuff. But, you know, when you're going through portfolios and stuff like that, I feel like it's really important to have 5 bangers than to just throw out 100 tattoos.
Yeah.
You know, long run, you know.
Oh, for sure.
In the long run, it just looks good. I mean, no one's going to take the time to look at those anyway, but after about like 5 picks, someone's going to know, like, all right, you're the guy.
Yep.
So one of the things that I want to do with this podcast, you know, especially talking to other tattoo artists and being a tattoo artist myself, is there's some things that when a client asks you that, it's a little different than when an artist asks you that. But I want to talk about topics that I think are good for people watching this.
Yeah.
So we'll get into hard stuff first. What's an acceptable tip?
An acceptable tip? What's an acceptable tip? I mean, that's really tough because it depends on the kind of tattoo I'm doing. Listen, if my client's spending $1,000, I don't want them to give me a tip. They don't have to because I feel like I'm already collecting all this. It's not like half that money's going to the shop to some other dude who owns it. You know, it's all in my pocket. So when it hits to a certain point, I'm like, listen, if you want to give me a tip, that's all on you. I really appreciate it. But aside for that, like a good tip, I mean, let's
say someone's getting a piece and you're like, all right, man, we'll do this for like $450.
Right. I mean, I always kind of went off the 20% rule. Yeah. But honestly, good tip, $100.
Always.
Like if you really want to fucking know a good tip, $50 to $100. You're throwing 200 in there. Hey, guess what? I'll get you in a lot sooner than the other people who are waiting.
Dude, it's so funny because, you know, like I hate when clients ask me that question. That's why I want to do this, dude. You should have seen Josh's face. You know, I was like, what's the acceptable tip? He's like, oh, God. It's so interesting because there's not a right answer.
It's a vague question.
Yeah, and, you know, there's a lot of artists that complain about not getting tips. And I just feel like if it's that big of a deal to you, charge more.
Yep.
You know,
absolutely.
It's just, you know, Josh made a good point. He said, don't depend on your tips.
No, I never depend on tips. I always, you know what? There's certain people that I've worked with that I know who's going to tip me well. And then there's other people who, or I could just even tell just by the way they are, they carry themselves. And I'll be like, yeah, I'm not expecting anything from this person, which is fine. I mean, again, I'm not having to pay for a booth space, so it's not like I have to meet a quota every week or a month, you know. And I'm doing all right, so I don't really depend on those tips.
Yeah, then you get some people, and they're like, you charge them like, really, man? That's it? I'm like, hey, man, you want to throw me a little bit more? I'm not going to tell you no.
I know I've had that many times, and I'm always surprised by that by some people. Or I hear, you should be charging more. And I'm like, nah, I feel like I'm already charging. I almost sometimes feel guilty what I charge. Yeah,
especially like when you've been tattooing that long, you know, with inflation and everything, there's been so many times. I mean, when I first started in a shop, we had a $30 minimum.
Yeah, I remember that.
We have a $100 minimum. And I, you know, other than like small stuff I can crank out really quick, I really try to keep it around 2.
Yeah.
You know, but I don't hate. I mean, it's just nice to do some tattoos sometimes. Fuck, I just got a little sidetracked.
It's all right. We're talking about tips.
Yeah, man. But, you know, really just knowing your self-worth, knowing, you know, how long you're working for. And I mean, if it's something you're enjoying, you know, it's cool anyway. But I mean, tattooing's really like started to, it already has. It's gone into that fine art phase of this to where the product is really of value now. Mm-hmm. You know, as before it was more of an accessory.
Yeah.
You know?
It's almost like a luxury.
Yeah.
Well, to get tattooed by, you know, good quality artists, it's more of a luxury, I feel like.
Yeah. It's went from like a beater to like a Benz.
Well, yeah. Like that fucking hairy-ass biker guy to like this business dude. Like, in a Benz. Like, which is weird to say that out loud. Business guy. I don't want to be linked to any of that shit, but you know what I mean. So,
I was just at the Chicago convention, and you had the same opinion I did.
Yes.
It's fucking huge, bro.
Massive. It just gets bigger and bigger every year.
It's ridiculous, man. And, I mean, it's so crowded and everything. And What's your opinions on conventions? Do you think it's a good idea for artists to do conventions?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, you know what? I never used to be really big, and I don't want to say I don't want to say that I was really big on not, I don't know how to explain it, but I feel once I worked the Milwaukee convention 2 years ago, that's where I realized, like, this is important. I need to do this more, because that's where I felt I started to get more recognized. I've never been recognized at a convention more than I did at the Milwaukee one. Yeah. Weird as hell.
By other artists, or just like...
By other artists, by people. I used to be afraid of people watching me tattoo, because if I make that one little mess up, everyone can see around me, and I'm thinking, do they see that? But now I like embrace it. I'm like, fuck yeah, I like when people come and watch, because I like that reaction of holy shit.
The longer they stay, the more you know you're doing something more right than wrong.
And when I worked at convention, I had artists coming up to me constantly like, holy shit, that looks really good. They'd take my card. They would look at the work. I had Michael Perry come up to me. And I never really talked to Michael Perry all that much. So it was super cool. When he's like, Adam, what's going on? He came into the booth. I'm like, awesome. Hell yeah, come on over. And he talked to me for like 30 minutes. And then because of that convention, I ended up, so I worked at convention. About a year later, last year, I did the Minnesota convention. Yeah. The guys from Reborn Aftercare were like, would you like to work our booth? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. So me and the wife went out there, did that, and I'm sitting here putting up, what do you call it, ads on Facebook and Instagram to get people to book appointments with me. And at first, I got like nothing. It was like crickets. I'm like, oh shit, I don't need a repeat of fucking Denver, where I only tattooed 2 people, and I lost so much money on that trip. It was about the week or 2 weeks out before that convention that my phone blew up to book appointments. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to bite my tongue, see if there's any really cool projects coming. One dude hit me up, and he's like, I want you to do whatever you want. I like your evil shit. I saw you at the Milwaukee convention working on some dude's leg, and I took your card, just moved to Minnesota, and saw that you're working at the convention. I'm like, hell yeah. So, I mean, if it wasn't for that Milwaukee convention, I would have never had that client from Minnesota. Yeah. And I wouldn't have Michael Perry talking to me as much, I guess. It's a weird flex. Stupid fanboy shit to say. Or other artists, or even people. I ran out of stickers and cards by the second day. Yeah. And I'm like, holy shit, I thought I had more than enough. So that was a huge game changer.
Yeah, it's you kind of get a little bit of a self-read on the work that you're putting in. Yeah. And especially for you to take that route to run an ad somewhere else, it's a little bit more than what other people would do. Right. But you're trying to guarantee your success. You're already making the investment into doing this. And I mean, nobody wants to go out there and just sit and be like, I got time open today. Right.
No, I do not want to go to any convention out of state and just bank on walk-ups, because I've done that with Milwaukee and Chicago, building, my portfolio, or trying to get my name out there. And come on, we've all done those. We've done so many tattoos at conventions you just hate doing. You're like, but you needed the money, so you did it. Yeah. Until you're finally able to book I like booking appointments for the convention.
Yeah, definitely.
Because I want to do fun pieces and show them off. There's other artists that love to fucking get people to come up to the table and get them in the chair, because they're looking at it as, I'm going to get as many people up and make a shit ton of money. Like Renee, for example. When that guy worked at convention, he didn't really like to have, I guess, appointments. He would just get walk-ups and collect money all day. And I'm like, dude, I don't like that. I like working on shit I have fun doing.
Yeah, I typically, I'll book one a day for each of them if I'm not going to work on a piece for 2 days.
That's exactly what I do.
I mean, even if I'm at the shop, I want to feel, you're already in this stressful environment. There's a lot going on. Yeah. And I want to feel at home. So I want to know what I'm doing. I want to be interested in what I'm doing. And especially with a convention, it's kind of your moment to strut your shit a little bit. Yeah. And you want to work on something that when people are walking by, they're getting a good look at what you do. Yeah. And like I said, it's just a way to stretch your stuff. And one thing I like about conventions, I think that's really important for especially newer artists, is to get just to be in the industry.
Yeah.
You know, it's just a point where you're in the industry to get out of what you're observing just in the shop in your town. You know, it's good to be in the industry and get a little bit of a view about it.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and I kind of have this problem, and I think maybe it's just social media. They only put badass shit in front of you.
Yeah.
And now you're like, fuck.
Yeah,
but when you go to a convention and you're like, most of these people aren't that guy.
Yeah.
You know, okay, I'm doing better than I thought.
Right.
You know, it gives you more of like a realistic look at what's going on in the industry.
Right.
And you know, it's just nice to be able to. It's just another place to have access to information.
Yeah.
In general, and you can set up a guest spot somewhere.
Yeah,
it's a meeting point.
Yeah, I worked Denver a while back, and I met this dude out of Ohio, and he's like, if you ever want a guest spot, I got a shop. And even still to this day, like I follow his work, and we'll both comment on each other's stuff.
Yeah.
And he just got himself his own studio, and he said the same thing. He's like, dude, if you're ever in the area and you want to, you have a place here. And I'm like, hell yeah, thanks. Networking is huge with the tattoo industry.
Yeah.
And I can't say I love the fact that it's not like it used to be where all these tattoo artists back in the day would talk shit about everyone. It could be a good tattoo. That artist from another shop will try to talk shit about it. It's like, dude, shut up. Like, that is good work. Let's be realistic. Like, quit trying to down it because the guy didn't come to you.
Haters gonna hate.
Yeah.
Haters
So
gonna hate.
when you got all these artists now, we're so cool with sharing. Well, most of us are cool with sharing ideas and how we tackle certain things that some of us would not even think about. You know, like, oh shit, why didn't I think of that?
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I feel like the culture has just expanded to a point where there's enough of the pie for everybody.
Yeah.
So I feel like that was your biggest thing back in the day, because someone else would be taking your money, or an artist was going to go somewhere else. So it was like protecting what you have. And now it's just like, whatever, dude, there's more than enough for everybody.
Yeah.
And the shit talking's definitely gone down. So your style, you have a very distinct style with your tattoos, a lot of texture. I guess I would consider it black and gray color infused a lot of the time as well.
Yeah, definitely. I like doing some black and gray color infused.
One of my favorite tattoos that you did was that Plague Doctor.
The Plague Doctor one. Oh, it's not a Plague Doctor, actually.
not?
No, you're thinking of thigh piece.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just did like this evil bird skull with Reaper hood. I mean, which does kind of look like a Plague Doctor, you know. And I'm continuing that next week. I'm super stoked. Yeah.
Fuck,
that was when I did at the Milwaukee convention, and I had so many people coming up to me like, holy fuck. And that was the day that I had like a lot of the other tattoo artists mainly sticking around for that. And I was like, that's cool. And that still is one of my favorite tattoos, I would say.
Yeah, it's definitely like my favorite of
Thanks,
yours, man. And I like how your tattoo art translates into just the art you make. You know, we got this board back here that you gifted me. Well, not gifted. I bought this from you. Would have been nice, but but you know, this is a good look at your style and stuff, man, and just all that texture and everything, and you know, having that color in the background too. You know, it's really cool, man. It's awesome to just look at, and just as an art piece. I mean,
thanks.
It's great, man. I love this.
I really appreciate it. I appreciate the support for you hitting me up to buy it. I mean, I was like,
I love
all
the
right.
boards, man. The boards are cool because like you can always get prints.
Yeah.
You know, but the boards, it's cool. Ice Escape, man.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely. So did I.
It's so dope, man. Mm-hmm. So as well as tattooing, you know, you do other things. You're into music, man.
Yep.
Your new band.
Repentance. I'm wearing the hoodie today, actually. And look at that.
Yeah, I was listening to you guys all morning.
No shit.
I fucking love it, bro.
Fuck yeah.
I really do, man.
Hell yeah.
It's hard to like get into metal now because I guess it's the same thing with most music styles. I guess more specifically with like rap stuff, where it's just like so repetitive.
Yeah.
You know, and your style is just like thrashy. It's groovy, and everyone there like the space is just filled perfectly, man. No one's stepping on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
It doesn't sound overly produced, man. And your vocals are just like, they're just incredible, bro.
Thanks. Hell
really
yeah.
good.
I wasn't, so the first band, when I was in Product of Hate, I was with those guys for 14 years. We have a good bond, like that. We have that closeness that it's so close that I hate them. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're like brothers at this point. But there was a point where I was like, I didn't really see it getting anywhere beyond what it was. And if it did, it wouldn't last long. So I figured, I don't want this to end on a bad note with these guys. I would just, and honestly, like, with that band, I was kind of I was drained. I knew I was over it. I was like, once I'm going to practice and I feel it's a chore, that's it. So I was under the impression, I was like, I'm going to be done with this band. I'll keep my eyes open or ears to the floor for any other bands or opportunities. And for anything else, I don't know. I was going to do tattoos for the rest of my life for all I care.
Yeah.
My buddy Alex was recording Sean's band, Repentance, at the time for the second album, and he didn't have a band. He didn't have a lineup. So everybody from the first album pretty much up and walked away from him, and he's like, I'm rebranding everything at this point. Like, I need all new people. And I went over to Alex's house, I was hanging out with him. He's showing me the recordings. It's like, this song, I think it was Down in the Water, before it was Down in the Water. And I was like, I want to put vocals over this right now. I don't even care. I don't want to be on the album. I don't care. I just want to hear some screaming over this because this is a punch you in the mouth song. And he's like, I can't let you sing on. It's Sean's. I'm not going to step on any toes. I'm like, fine, whatever. So then the next day, Alex is like, so you want to come over and lay down some tracks? Sean said it's cool. And I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll come by this day. And Sean came by. I threw down some just nonsense. Didn't even make any sense. I just wanted to hear something. And by the time I went home, they're like, Alex calls me. He's like, so Sean just left the house and you're the only guy for the job. And I'm like, I knew you were going to say that shit to me, man. I was like, the other band is going to think I quit for you assholes. And Alex is like, well, I mean, yeah, it might seem like that, but it's not. And here's the thing. You got to outweigh the options or whatever, you know what I mean? Like the good and the bad. Like, think about all the plus sides to being in this band. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. Sean's got a good reach. Knows a lot of people. Band's already on a label. And the shows are, well, since I've been in the band, the shows have been absolutely amazing, knock on wood. Yeah, it's been ridiculous. Our first show was a sold-out show with this band Violence in Chicago. So, yeah, I got into Repentance, and it's like it kind of gave me a whole new, like, a breath of fresh air.
Yeah.
Like, oh, finally, I'm hungry now. I want to practice. I want to play these shows, and I'm looking forward to it again. And then when I see the shows we're playing, we're getting on national acts. We played Milwaukee Metal Fest last summer, main stage at the rave at the Eagles Ballroom. I was beyond stoked when I heard we were playing Metal Fest. I was like, what? See, Sean's like, hey, I talked to Jamie Josta. He says he's going to put us on next year. And I was like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it. So I didn't want to get excited. And then January came around last year, and he's like, we are booked for Metal Fest. And I was like, get out of here. I was like, please tell me we're not playing the bar, because I've played the bar so many times.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know yet. We'll find out. So he talks to Jamie. He's like, yeah, Jamie said we're not playing the bar. And then I found out we were opening the Eagles Ballroom at the rave. Not Fest stage.
Who'd you open up for? Who's headlining?
Headlining was Lamb of God. Before them was Machine Head. Before them was After the Burial. Before them was the Halo Effect. I mean...
And then the bands just get more...
yeah. I mean, it kind of dwindled down a little bit more, the less popular of the ones.
Yeah, it's cool to open up for bands that... I mean, I don't know about you, but that I've listened to growing up. That's really incredible to be on the same stage and to... I can only imagine it'd be incredible to be on that same stage and then to be within that reach just on the set list.
Here's a wild
the same
thing.
Fans.
So... I was worried because we were playing the ballroom, and that Metal Fest has every stage going at once. So you have to pick and choose the bands you want to see. And I was like, all right, I have a feeling nobody really knows who the hell we are. There's not going to be anybody in that ballroom. And if there is, it's going to look like way less people because of how big it is. So by the time we stepped foot on that stage, there was a crowd of people up there. And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I was scared to play in front of like 10, 15 people.
Yeah.
No, the place was pretty packed. And then not only that, so I'm singing, and I look behind me off to the back of the stage, and there's Rob Flynn from Machine Head standing there jamming out to my music, going like, yeah, dude. And I'm like, I grew up listening to this motherfucker, and he's fucking rocking out right now. And then I guess Jamie from Hatebreed was on the other side listening to us. Dude. And I didn't know that, but I was like, that's fucking sweet too. So after we got off the stage, Rob, passed me on the back. He's like, that Reborn song, dude, is my favorite. And I'm like, fuck yeah. I think that blew me away.
When I was listening, because I just went on your guys' YouTube, I think it was the first one that was on the
EP,
like the playlist or something that was all together.
Is it the playlist for the second album?
I think it just has a bunch of your guys' songs on it.
Oh, I don't know.
But I think it was Reborn. That was the one that was.
That's the most popular one.
Yeah, it starts out quick and then it just like.
Yeah.
Dude, it's so cool. You guys just make that music that like you have to just bob to.
Yeah,
like, you have to.
You can't not go like this.
Just,
yep,
you're catching it, man. And for you to say, for them to say that you're the man for the job, I mean, you're just so talented that you're going to be the man for just about any job within, what you do and stuff.
That means a lot.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks,
I think Reborn was the one where when I was listening to it, I think it reminded me when I first moved here of like Lazarus.
No shit.
I think so.
Okay.
If I remember right.
I mean, it was pretty fast. It's got some thrash and stuff in it.
Yeah, it starts fast and then it goes like, I think it goes like halftime or something on it. But yeah, it's really cool.
We got Corey from Trivium to do the leads in that. That helped boost that song.
Wow.
Like we got 500,000 streams on just that song.
Yeah, I mean, he's so fucking talented.
Yeah.
He's a prodigy.
Yeah.
You guys, you've toured with this band?
No, we've never. Oh, I've not toured with Repentance yet. We just played regionally, Chicago, Milwaukee, Antioch. Just all in between Chicago, Milwaukee. We've played all.
Yeah.
We will eventually get out there on the road probably and do it, but we ain't doing it for like 4 or 5 people. We're not doing it just for any bands. Like I told Sean, I'm like, I've done it. I've played in front of one person. I've played in front of 5 people. I've played in front of 100. I'm like, I'm not doing that anymore. If we're going on a tour, it's got to be a legit good tour. Because that shit drains. Yeah, no pay to play. Like, I was like, absolutely not. So to see us, like, getting paid for the shows, like, even Metal Fest we got paid for, which I was totally down to do it for free.
Yeah. Just the visibility.
Yeah, just to get it out there. They were going to have they're going to have us on there again this year for the pre-show party, but I guess they reached their cap for budget. And I was like, dude, if you would have just said something, we would have done it just for our merch money. I wouldn't have cared, but hey, it is what it is. I said, you know what? I'd rather be on next year's anyways. I'm not 100% sold on this year's Metal Fest. I mean, there's some cool acts on there for sure, but last year's was way better, I thought.
Yeah, especially when you have that to compare it to.
Yeah.
You're okay with passing on it.
Yeah. I'm like, next year will probably be even better. Or, there's other bands that I'll probably would like to get on stage with. It's cool because with Sean, me and him have gotten really close over time. And that's how I had a feeling with me being in Product of Hate. He was in Dirge, and then Dirge ended up turning into Bloodline. I just always had that feeling that one day we'd end up working together. I didn't know what kind of circumstances or how it would end up. And then it just... it fucking fell into place. Cool. And I'm meeting these bands like Fear Factory, and I'm hanging out with those guys more than on a couple occasions. Like now it's like if I see Dino, he's like, hey, how's your wife? How's the kids doing? And I'm like,
cool.
What? This is crazy.
How long have you been doing music? Have you always been a vocalist?
Yeah, I've played guitar at home, but I don't play anything else besides I sing in a band. That's all I've ever done.
Yeah.
I've been doing that since I was 16, 17.
Mm-hmm. That's cool, man. What have you had any like embarrassing moments or like oopsie-daisies on stage?
Oh, bro, I've had many. So many.
What's the fuck? What's your like? God damn it, that was in front of people moment.
I bashed my face on the microphone. I brought the mic. All right. So we were playing hat tricks over here. Good old hat tricks, where the headliners don't play till 1 a.m. Because all the other bands take their sweet ass time getting off the stage. So, Product of Hate's headlining this show, and it is almost 1 a.m. and we haven't even gone on that stage yet. And they've given us like drink tickets, and I got pitchers of Blue Moon to drink all night. And then Dan Gappin from Lazarus shows up to the show, and he's like, "Hey man, you want to go smoke a joint?" I'm like, "Fuck yeah, why not? I got nothing else better to do." So then I smoke the joint. I go sit back down at the bar, drink some more. Before you know it, my buddy Mike's patting me on the back. He's like, "Dude, we're up." And I'm like, "Oh, fuck, I forgot we're playing a show tonight." I step off that bar stool. I could have fell back. I was like, "Oh, I am so trashed."
Get the crossfade?
Oh, man. I got up on that stage. I looked at Mike as he's getting behind his drum kit. I'm like, "I'm freaking smashed. I can't do this, dude." He's like, "You got this. You got this." So here I am playing the show. I don't even know how many songs in it was. It was maybe half the set. Brought the mic up, smashed myself in the face. I didn't skip a beat. I kept singing, but I could freaking see the teeth just fucking spitting out of my mouth, and I could feel that teeth, like, you know, like all of it coming out. And I'm like, I know I bashed my tooth. So I turn around at Mike, and I'm like, "Ah!" And he's just like, "You're fine, you're fine."
Was there blood?
No, there was no blood, thank God. Just a half missing tooth. Just
would have been good for the showmanship.
Oh,
Pull the Gene Simmons out.
man. And then I sounded like complete garbage because I was hammered on top of it. That was probably a good embarrassing moment. And I think maybe me falling on stage, like jumping up and then slipping. Although I have almost threw my back out on stage once. That was dangerous.
Fuck, man.
Yeah.
What's something fucking wild you've seen, like when you've been out on the road or something, either like outside of a show or during a show or just anything like that? Just like some, what the fuck, bro? Like, you see this motherfucker over here?
Yeah, I remember playing Portland. We were we got done playing. We were headlining that one, and I look across the street. There's like this party going on at this bar, some Mexican themed stuff or whatever, family thing. But then you got this dude standing right outside the place, wigging out, just kind of hunched over, you know, and you're like, what is going on with this guy? And the owner of the club's like, "Yeah, he's on meth or whatever the hell, you know, drug." And I'm like, well, that explains it. Meanwhile, my buddy Mark's trying to hook up with this chick at the same time, and she disappears, comes back all fucked up. She just got done taking some meth before she was going to screw Mark. And Mark's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to do that anymore." I'm like, this girl's all faded. Like she left normal, like, "I'll be right back," and then comes back all fucking wonky and shit. And that's not the first time Portland's been like that. Like, we would, the first time I played Portland, I found syringes and little thing of heroin in a baggie on the ground. Somebody must have left. I'm like, Jesus Christ, Portland, what is going on out here?
The drug economy's got to do pretty good if they're willing to just drop a bag of heroin.
Right. I mean, it wasn't much. It was a little bit, but I guess that's still a lot.
It probably kills somebody.
Yeah, right.
It'd be crazy to headline Chaz.
Yeah.
Seattle.
Yeah. Actually, speaking of Seattle, that was another fucking city that was kind of gross. We were walking, trying to find a place to smoke or whatever, because half my bands, they were fucking always looking for places to get high. And we go down this alley, and they're standing there smoking. And I just take a second to look around our surroundings, and I'm like, guys, look at the walls. It is a freaking bathroom. This alley is a straight up freaking homeless person's bathroom. Like, I'm talking, you see the shit mark, and then it's where it falls. And it's all next to each other. Like, it's all shit everywhere. You're like, guys, there's shit all over these walls. They're like, let's get the fuck out of here. I'm like, Jesus, I don't know.
You know what's wild about cities like that, dude, is like, you know, obviously, you know, those cities are the way they are because of a certain certain personal values that a big group of people have. And it's like, sure, you want this, but look what all is coming with it.
Right.
Like, I get it, man. You want to be able to use what bathroom you can, but could we do it in the bathroom?
Yeah, or at least go into the woods. I'd rather shit in the woods than shit in a back alley up against a brick wall. Because then you just, not only that, but I feel really gross. And then I chance some other asshole walking in the alley and seeing me just pants down, leaning up against the wall, just spraying. Like,
He just sits next to you and you just don't make eye contact.
I'm,
and shit.
you know what? With the way that the shit looked on the walls, it almost seemed like that's how it went down. Oh, hey, Bob, how's it going? You know, just pinching off another loaf.
It's old school medieval shits.
Yeah, before I go panhandle again off 75th.
Dude, fucking towns like that are crazy, man. I remember when I was out in LA and just walking around because it's so crazy to see the contrast between the people doing really well and the people at the fucking bottom.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like there's syringes places, you're stepping over bums, and then there's some guy in a Lamborghini next to you going to a meeting.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, this gap is just
Welcome to the city.
fucking ridiculous,
Yeah.
man. Life's crazy, man. I couldn't imagine just what you'd see on the road doing music. Have you seen any crazy shit that went down inside a tattoo shop? What's a crazy experience?
Yeah, man. I know I have with Parker and Barrel.
Yeah.
There's been many mainly because we were by a bar next door.
Yeah.
We've had people come into the shop thinking that this couple came in hammered. Is this a bar? And I wasn't there. I missed it because I always missed all the fun stuff because I was tattooing. And no, it's not a bar. Bar's next door. Oh, okay. They walk off that. You know that first step in Parker and Barrel when you're walking out?
Yep.
Well, the girl face planted, smashed her face right into the concrete right there, right outside the shop. Ambulances had to come and pick her up and everything. So that was pretty wild.
Dude, I remember this one time when I was working Modern Image and Racine, man, we would get characters in because we were a street shop. There weren't a lot of shops. We were kind of like in the hood or whatever at the time.
Oh, I can imagine then.
And I love sightseeing, man. I was telling Josh, I said I'm the kind of guy that likes to watch a car accident.
Yeah.
And this couple came in, and she wanted to get a piercing, some jewelry changed or something. So she goes into the piercing room, but you can still hear what's going on.
Yeah.
And she's like slurring her words and everything.
She's hammered.
It's just really bad. And someone swears they saw her drop something in a can.
Oh, okay.
But you know, we really didn't know. But I think we got our answer.
Yep.
So she's asking for jewelry that like isn't right.
Yeah.
So our piercer at the time's like, "Fuck this," and made the piercing apprentice deal with it.
Oh no.
She's dealing with
Yeah.
it, and the chick throws up all over her. Throws up all over our piercing apprentice. She walks out the room. She's like, "Fuck this! I'm fucking out of here. This is fucking disgusting." And she fucking leaves. Well, we're like, "Dude, you gotta fucking go. This is ridiculous." She's fucking slurring her words. And her boyfriend, he's like, "Babe, we gotta get you out of here. You know, let's go." He carries her out like he's walking, he's running out of a burning building like a hero.
In
and shit.
arms with the legs.
Dude, it was so bad. And then she goes, "Where's Mark?" And he goes, "Who the fuck is Mark?" Tosses her on the couch in the front.
And then just leaves?
He leaves. We're like, what the fuck? And we're, you got to go. You can't stay here, lady. So he comes in. He's like, "Hurry, babe, you got to go. They're going to call the cops." We're like, "We're not going to fucking call the cops."
Yeah,
But
yeah.
dude, it is so crazy to see that shit down. And then the next day she comes in and she goes, "You disrespected me." Well, here's another thing too.
Wow.
We had her release form from a different, it was a release form from that one. She said she wasn't pregnant. So she goes, wild.
You
man.
get characters like that, man.
Yeah.
For sure. There was a girl that came in and left blood on the couch because she was on her period. I wasn't there for that again, but I heard about it. Or a girl getting pierced, and she walked up to the front. She left her baby in the car while she went and got pierced. With it, thank God the car was running. We'll give her that, but there's a reason for that. So she goes and gets her piercing, and I remember being at the front counter. I was tattooing again. God damn it, I always miss the good shit. I just remember seeing her walk past, and then I hear Renee go, "Hey, did that girl pay?" And Ailish or whoever is like, "No, they didn't pay." And they're like, "Shit." So they go out there to get her, and she jumps in her car really quick, tries to pull out and dip and smashes into a car coming down the road. Just pulls out right there and hits him.
Instant karma.
Yep. And I was like, oh, I missed all this. So there's all this commotion going on, and I'm sitting there tattooing my client. I had to hear it all from them. But I'm like, man, that's just some crazy shit.
Dude, I remember when I was working at a different shop. This is when I was apprenticing Tyler at the time. And I was on house arrest. He's got in trouble running from the cops and stuff. But I was on house arrest, so I was allowed to work 6 days a week, but I had to pick like my hours and stuff. So I was only allowed to be at home or at work. And I didn't know where the boundary line was, so I never stepped off the curb.
Yeah.
So we're outside the front of the shop, and I see something in the middle of the road. And this is only a two-way road. It's in a neighborhood. This is at Kalaka, so it's like right down the block. And I saw something like right on the dashes in the road, and I go, I think that's a fucking dildo.
No shit.
So I couldn't step off. I'm like, Tyler, run out there. I was like, kick that thing over here.
Kick
so
that
he
thing
kicks
over.
it, battery fucking flies out of it, and it's a dirty
dildo.
It's a dirty dildo.
No shit.
So and it was in the median. So someone was driving and fucking dropped that thing out the window.
Yep.
So I'm like, ew, that's gross. So we get back to tattooing, and I think I was tattooing Tyler's chest at the time, and we see this homeless guy like start to walk by. So he's like walking by.
He sees it.
And then he backs up, looks in the shop, walks away. We're like, that all right, that was weird because we're like, is he coming in here? Then we see him run, grab the dildo, and fucking run down the street. And we're like, holy shit, take the gloves off, run outside. This guy's running with his shopping cart. I'm like, what's he going to do with that dildo?
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine touching that fucking thing, bro.
Oh, I don't know.
He's going to give it to his bum girl and just be like, happy Valentine's Day, baby.
Or that, or he maybe likes to play with his ass a little bit when he's, not collecting cans. I don't know.
It's crazy, man. Just that's why I love that. I loved working out in Vegas because of that. And even Parker and Barrett was crazy, but it still wasn't crazy enough for me.
Yeah.
But there was that one old folks home.
Yeah.
Where the homeless guy would walk away and beg people for money, and then we'd be like, "Don't give that guy any fucking money," and then they gotta like grab him by the arm and walk him back.
We were squirting the guy with little squirt guns because he'd come by every day. He'd always ask, and eventually we were like, "Get out of here!" Squirting. And we're like, "Oh, you're so mean." I'm like, "Listen." They tell us like to shush the guy away, like whatever, and he asks us every day. It's getting old. Like we've given him $1 already. Okay.
You gotta put like those collars on him with the electronic fence.
Yeah, he's only allowed to go a certain perimeter. He's staying away from all local businesses.
Who knows? He could be some crazy Vietnam vet and just keep walking and shit.
Yeah, get
like,
lost.
It's like it's on 10.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said before, this is something that is for like us and as tattoo artists and for people watching this. Do you have any pet peeves with clients? And what are they? Like just things that they do while you're tattooing.
Stink.
Yeah.
Just stinky people suck. And it sucks because I don't want to be a jerk and tell them that they smell, So I just put up with it. But it's just like, come on, man. Like when I'm working on a calf or working on a foot or it's like when people's feet stink so bad and I'm trying to breathe out of my mouth the entire time, and then I notice myself rushing the tattoo, and at that point I don't even give a shit about the quality because I'm miserable. In and out, get you out of here. Or if you're tattooing right there and you can smell their breath and it smells like they're nibbling on little pieces of shit, and you're like, God damn it. Body odor, all that shit sucks. That's my pet peeve. And that's, I'm sure there's more, but that is one that definitely sticks with me.
I was telling Josh one of my biggest things, and I think it's just because it's happened so much in just other aspects of life that it just bothers me more at work, is people on speakerphone.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
I can't fucking stand it. One, because I don't need to hear this shit.
Right.
Two, it's annoying. And three, it's like, I hate when they get louder, and I'm like, dude, just put it to your face.
And there's again, you're working on is it the client that's on speakerphone while you're tattooing them? They're doing
or
this?
their friend.
Yeah, because see, I normally hear it from the friend side.
Mm-hmm.
And the other day, Trevor had a client in, and this girl brought her sister. Well, her sister was the ride, I guess, for her. And her sister was on the phone the entire time in a fight with her boyfriend, just arguing. I didn't realize it because I was pretty far away from to know, but my client my client's boyfriend that was sitting on the couch, he was next to her and could hear it all. And Trevor's like, bro, I had to tell her to like stop because she was getting in a massive argument with her boyfriend there. And even after you left, it got worse on the phone, you know. So, yeah, that speaker stuff. And then on top of it with arguing, that's even worse.
Yeah. Fucking, oh my God, do that shit at home, man.
Yeah.
You know, I was thinking about the body odor thing, you know, because it is a big thing. One thing I've noticed, bro, is a lot of the problems I've had with body odor, and I'm not trying to be a hater. You can fucking call me whatever you want. A lot of them have been women.
Yeah, I've had some women. I've had 2 clients that were girls that had stinky feet. It was funny, they were sisters, and I busted the one out for stinky feet. I was like, damn, girl, your feet stink. And her sister's like, ha ha, your feet stink. So then when I started tattooing her, I was like, girl, your feet stink too. Just as bad as your sister's.
Listen, girls, fucking throw the Uggs away and get a new fucking pair.
For real. But I've tattooed a bunch of dudes. More dudes with shitty breath.
Yeah.
And I have tattooed a couple guys with stinky feet too.
Yeah. You know, not trying to be misogynistic, but man, I had this chick. She wanted a little tattoo on her face. I had no problem with it, but came in with just makeup caked on.
Oh, how do you expect to get a face tattoo when you got makeup on? Then you got to rub that shit off.
Yeah. A funny story about this though. This just happened. So she comes in and she's like, I want to get a little rose here and I want to get a letter over here. I was like, all right, whatever. And, you know, she wanted like a cursive D over here and I finish it. And like her and the dude that was there with her, you know, they're goofing around and stuff like that. And as soon as I get done, she looks in the mirror. She's like, I love it. And I go, she got that D on her face.
She got that D.
And she goes, fuck. And I was like, you didn't think about that?
Yeah, for real.
So, yeah, I told her, I was like, well, I'm honored to be the first one that gets to tell you that because it's not going to be the last.
Nope, it won't. She'll be hearing that for a long time.
Have you had, you know, because you've been doing this long enough, what's just a bizarre tattoo that you've done? Just something that sticks in your head. You're just like, that's fucking weird, man, but whatever. And you don't need to understand the story, but it was just fucking odd.
Oh, I feel like there was one recently, and it sucks that I can't remember that one. Honestly, I don't know if I've had like anything too freaking wild, which is unfortunate for as long as I've been tattooing, or if I have, I just don't remember it. I've tattooed a bunch of dudes' asses once. That was about it. Putting
Scrape my tit, dude. I thought I just want to on this edge. I want to make sure my nipple was still there.
Are they pierced?
No, man.
I'd say maybe if the piercing hooked it, but God, I can't think of anything offhand. Really? What do you got?
Oh my God, where do I start, bro? Let's see. Okay, so when I was most of them are Modern Image, bro. I'm gonna be honest. That was such a cool shop.
Yeah.
I feel like your first shop you get into is always like the most important one to you, as far as like, it's like, man, it's just this where you're still innocent, you're still seeing all this cool stuff, and you have a lot of memories for it. Modern Image was that shop for me because it so much. But so this little Hispanic chick came in and she goes, I want to get a tattoo. And I'm like, all right.
Did you seem all innocent and shit?
Yeah.
And
I'm like, all right, you know, what do you want to get? So I want to get a tattoo. You know, I'm like, listen, it's like a doctor. Like, listen, you got to tell me what's fucking up with you. Like, I can't give you what you want unless you tell me. She goes, I want to get a name and then the P word down there. I go, what are you talking about? So finally I get it out of her. She want her boyfriend's name, his pussy.
Oh, wow.
So I'm just like, all right, whatever. And like, just right there, bro. And, you know, like, all honesty, I mean, it's a job, man. It's weird. It is sort of an uncomfortable thing, you know, but, you know, I went and I did it. So I go, whatever, you know, I'm doing this tattoo. And next thing I know, this big-ass fucking Mexican dude comes in, and I'm like, shit, that's him.
That's the boy.
And even though I'm going to assume that she already knows that, you know.
She told him.
Yeah, that she told him, and this dude's not fucking beating my ass yet. So he comes over, he's over my shoulder, and this is a big.
And she's got her legs spread and shit in front of you.
Oh, my God, bro. And So he goes, looks good, man. He's like, could you add some little lips right there? I was like, oh, yeah, I got you, bro. Anything you need. That shit was fucking wild.
See, I did
bro.
something kind of like that. I don't know how far down yours was. Mine wasn't as far to the vagina as it would be. It was like a little bit, I want to say maybe right at the top of where the hair would grow, the top part.
Yeah.
Towards the stomach, upper part of the pubic hairline. Anyways, this guy and this girl came in, boyfriend and girlfriend, and she goes, I want to get my boyfriend's name. Yeah, just like yours, right there, but not his property or whatever the hell, just his name with a crown. Or no crown. That was a different person. So I was like, all right. So as I'm tattooing this guy's name. He's telling a story how he got his last girlfriend to get his name tattooed on her. And I'm thinking, damn, girl, you're sitting here getting tattooed. And he's bragging about his ex having his name on her.
What's her face like?
He goes to the bathroom. I'm like, I do cover-ups, you know? And I didn't, like Renee, when he would go in the blackest of the black and do that shit to people. Me, I'd be a little bit more generous because I feel like she's going to hate it, in a few years. So I'd be like, well, if it's something easier to work with later on. I never did cover it, but yeah, it was just weird that guy would brag about how he got his ex-girlfriends to do the same thing while she's in the chair getting it done that very moment. If I was her, I'd have been like, stop. Yeah. We'll schedule another date to cover what you just got done,
Yeah. Names are weird, man. It's a weird thing. Like, listen, it's obviously a fucking curse.
That's how I feel.
There's some circumstances where I guess, but it's weird, man. Especially when you get young people that want to do that, and then they got to do the neck thing.
Yeah, why?
I don't know. And what's really weird is like a situation like that where you have someone telling someone else that they're gonna get it, and I'm like, dude, I thought slavery ended. Yeah,
right. It's fucking nuts. It's funny is when people ask for permission from their significant other for their tattoo. Hey, babe, what do you think of the size? Is that tattoo okay for me? Like, if he says no, you're going to be like, oh, I guess I can't get it. Like, it's your body. You might not end up being with this guy. And then what happens? You guys break up, and then you got this tattoo that you really didn't want, but you did it because your boyfriend said it was okay.
It's going to last a lot longer than that relationship.
Right.
Yeah, dude, fucking, man. It's weird because, I mean, it's always been a permanent thing, but society moves so fast that I don't think people are really taking into consideration, like, that this is a long-term thing. Yeah. And they make these decisions that they really haven't put any time into. And, I was talking to Josh about this, and when they see it on Pinterest and stuff, because it really moves in trends, what tattoos are your celebrity idols getting and stuff like that. Well, how do you feel with Pinterest?
It's like a love-hate relationship. I love it for ideas and inspiration. Mm-hmm. I hate it I don't really deal with it much too often, only with closer friends. But, like, that was, like, the nightmare for walk-ins because they would always come in with a freaking basic bitch tattoo. I want the infinity knot that's turning into a feather that says sisters, or the dandelion that goes off into birds, the feather that goes off into birds, or a guy's tattoo where it's, I hate to say it because I have a friend that I'm literally working on his tattoo right now. And I would have turned him down if he wasn't my friend. I'd have been like, dude, we're not doing this. But it's the lion with the roses, the clock. I'm like, okay, all right.
Yeah, it's crazy. Like, you remember, like, before, like, people would have a lot of the same shit, like the armbands? Yeah. Now those tattoos have just become bigger and more intricate.
Yeah, for real. If you think about it, yeah.
It's the same stuff. It's the lions. It's the, the cross with this and that and that.
Hey, look, I got tribal on me, man. Like, when tribal was a thing, I'm just glad I didn't take up half my fucking body with it.
Yeah. One thing that bothers me sometimes is, like, when you have a really nice piece and then they want to add lettering to it.
Oh my God, that could be my pet peeve. Honestly, because I have this question. I have this talk with people way too often. They're like, I want to get this, I want to get that for my kids, and then I want to put my kid's name, and then it's even worse if it's like a loved one that passed away. Can I get the date that his name and the date that he was born and died. Why do you want that? There is a headstone. Go visit it if you want to see a date that he was born and when he died. I'm like, just stick to the image.
Yeah.
The image is what's important, and people are going to be like, oh, who is this person? And that gives you a chance to express to them this is who they are, and that gives a story to it. There is a few things I could say. So I hate that. I hate when people put lettering and dates on their freaking tattoos.
That's what
unless
we're
you
here
do
for, man. Spill it out.
Unless you're good, like Josh Vaughn, where he does his portraits and he does like the graffiti style shit over it. That's acceptable. Yeah. The basic fucking like lettering underneath the face, you know, with the date and birth. Or it was just in my head. What's the other one that I can't stand that people do? Oh man, I can't think of it right now. Oh, it's for me. So I could look at it. It's upside down when their arm's down. It's like, so when you're shaking someone's hand, it's upside down. When you're reaching out for something, it's upside down. So when you go to show somebody, you're going to be like, this is what it looks like. And then it's even twisted because your arm has to twist like this. So then it's not even center.
That's one of my things too, especially because like I understand this is for you, but
you're showing it off. Why else would you be getting the tattoo?
This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
And my favorite one for that is the cross.
Yeah. Oh, because it could look upside down and shit. They're like, it's for me when they do this, but when their arm's down, it's upside down.
You know, like I'm past what people think about me, you know, like, but you're going to have some old lady behind you at Walmart and she's going to
see an upside down cross.
Yeah. She's like, this little Starbucks devil over here. Dude, I was just at Walmart today. I stopped over there. And so obviously they've gone away from having like cashiers there.
Yeah, they're trying to go with less cashiers and more of the self-checkout.
So they add all these checkouts. There's 39, which also pissed me off because I'm the guy that if I'm turning up the volume on TV, it's going to 40.
Yeah, yeah.
And I'm like, 39 of these, and 2/3 of them are closed.
Yeah.
What was the point of going automated?
Right. And not only that, but even if there are people still working registers, I still go to the registers. Yeah. I don't like having to bag my own shit, let alone having to scan my own shit. Because then when it comes to the produce, it's a pain in the ass. Because you got to look up the number and all that. I'm like, no, that's their job. I want them to do it. Yeah. And I don't want our society to be completely lazy. It's like, that's where we're headed.
It's wild, man. That'd be crazy, like, if you walked into a tattoo shop and there was, like, an automated way that they did the consult. Yeah. And then you just got the printout of the details.
That would irritate me.
Me too, but who fucking knows, bro?
Yeah, right.
Who knows?
There are some people where I'm like, you're going to have to come in because I don't know what the hell you're talking about, and I don't think we're on the same page. And they do. They'll come in, and we'll talk, and I'm like, I'm so glad you came in because what you were saying online is not what you're saying here, you know? It's like you have to, like, clear the air.
Yeah. Or they bring in somebody and they're trying to talk them out of shit.
Yeah, that shit too. That pisses me off.
I hate it. And I'm a big shit talker too, so I'll be like, "Are you getting this tattoo?"
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to tell them.
I shit talked a friend and just kind of you know.
Is this yours? Yeah. Last time I checked, you're not paying for this, are
you? You been tattooing?
Yeah. I hate when people want something too small for an area when it's like just take up that whole space. Yeah, it'll look better.
You know what's an interesting observation is that you could go and have a design for somebody's half sleeve. Yeah. They'll design this thing, put it on my arm. They give you the easiest fucking time. Mm-hmm. The smallest tattoo.
Always a pain in the ass.
Can we move it over 1 centimeter?
Yep.
Jesus Christ, man. Like,
I feel like the setup and all of the bullshit for the appointment, there's way more hassles with smaller tattoos than there is with the big one. Yeah.
I think it's a control thing.
Could be.
I think it's just something within them to where at the end of the day they need to make some sort of thing to where they didn't give you all the control. Yeah. You know, they need to.
Could be.
Yeah. Then I told them he just had him, you know, which, dude, they're like, you're not going to hate me if I ask you to, after you just let the stencil dry for 20 minutes. Yeah. And like, oh, my God. I'm so sorry. You're
like, hey, we're just going to be here so much longer now.
Like, it's your tattoo, whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah. And fortunately, that's just the way it is.
Yeah. What would you consider your biggest accomplishment of tattooing so far?
My biggest accomplishment, like
What are you most proud of that you've done so far with tattooing?
I guess being able to take care of take care of my family just off of that income.
Yeah.
No other income. Like I still go to bed at night going, I own a shop. I never cared to own a shop until COVID. And then I was like, I'm tired of listening to other people tell me what I need to do when I'm in the shop. I'm opening up my own shop.
Did you have your shop before or after COVID?
After COVID.
After.
Yeah.
How'd you survive during COVID? Did you tattoo?
Yeah, I did. No, not during the lockdowns. I didn't. I could have, but honestly, I took a break. I was like, I don't mind having a month off. I was saving money for when I would go on tour. I would save money for rent, car payment, cell phone, anything else that I'd have to take care of for the month that I'd be gone, right?
Yeah.
Well, I was doing all right with that I was saving money. So then I'm like, you know what? I'm going to try to save money for 6 months of mortgage, 6 months of our roof and siding that we had done, 6 months of my car payment paid off. And then before you know it, I had a year of all the bills paid up. And then I was like, oh, COVID happened, lockdown. I was like, I literally don't have to worry about tattooing.
Yeah.
Mortgage will be paid off for the next year if we really wanted to. But I hated seeing that gap. So like once I would take money for mortgage and pay for it, I have to hurry up and put money back in because I didn't like to see 12 turn into 11 and 10.
It's unfortunate that, it's good that you had it, but it's unfortunate that that's where it had to go.
Yeah.
Because you were pre-planning. And that's one of the issues that I had with other artists because I'm going to be straight up. I fucking tattooed. And
you did during COVID?
Fuck yeah.
I knew you did because I drove past your shop and you got the fucking
the plastic up.
The plastic, the paper up. But then you see in the top, you see the lights on.
Oh man, we were just chilling.
And I was half tempted a couple times to just stop over and be like,
tattooing,
"What are you guys doing in here?"
We weren't tattooing. We were sitting there 6 feet away from each other, just
chit chatting,
just chilling, dude. My big thing was just like, I don't think, I think it's un-American to tell people that they don't have a right to work. I think it's not American to tell somebody that they don't have the right to free movement.
Yeah.
And I saw this as a time where we had to be pirates.
Yeah.
And so my story with the shop is that I had just opened it the June before, and I was so happy, bro. I was so happy because I moved the shop over there. I went to the city, and when I had the shop before, I bought somebody out, rebranded, and did that, but I didn't go through the process of dealing with the city. And so that was a big thing for me, and I was so excited to see all the work, have the shop. Man, we had like 6 or 7 artists in there, and I go, cool, get through winter, tax season's coming. And then for it to go down like that and see, the artists, they eventually went their own ways and stuff like that. And I told the other artists to, do what you got to do. You have to do the same thing as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't want to risk all the work that I put in and find out that they were going to pull my license or something because of that. So what I did was I went places that I didn't have a license because they couldn't take anything from me.
There you go.
So I went to Arizona, which doesn't require a tattoo license.
No shit.
I tattooed out there. I went to Michigan. I don't listen. If you can do a clean tattoo anywhere, as long as you're taking precaution.
Right.
I mean, let's be real. Conventions aren't the most sterile places.
No,
to do
hell
tattoos.
no. There's people drinking and shit, sweaty, drunk people running around.
So I'd go to Michigan, and I mean, I go post up in a hotel for a weekend, do some work.
Tattoo out of the hotel.
Fuck yeah. And then I was like, what's the worst thing that's going to happen? These cops don't want to fucking enforce this shit. They're going to see it. They're going to be like, damn, bro, that's cold. Wrap it up. Get out of here. And like, I had a buddy who was stationed at the Marine base down in North Carolina, and all the shops were closed.
No shit.
Well, guess what? I set up at my homie's house. I was working out there for a week, still tattooing the Marines because they're still getting their paychecks.
Yeah.
And, it's really fucked up the way that not only us, but other industries got treated within COVID to say that their bills and providing for their family is an essential.
Yeah. I mean, in all honesty, I really think that shutting everything down was the worst idea. And not only that, but it's like if you are going to shut shit down, that means that everybody who owns a building, anybody who's renting out a building, nobody should have to be paying for anything. So the guy who owns the strip mall should not have to worry about paying his bills for that strip mall. So, and the people working in that strip mall shouldn't have to worry about paying the owner of that strip mall. Like, all of that is like, it trickles, you know? So if you're going to shut everything down, then you have to make sure everybody is shut down from having to make a payment or something. Yeah. Because if this poor guy buys a strip mall, finally gets these businesses in there, and then you get locked down, this guy still has to pay for the mortgage on that strip mall, for the taxes on that strip mall, for everything else, but yet he's not making money because everybody else can't work. Yeah. It's like you can't shut them down and not shut down the assholes who are trying to make this guy pay mortgage.
Yeah, and the unfortunate thing about that is, you know, I still had to pay rent on it and you know, everything like that, and that's why I took the route I did, because you know you're not gonna tell me what I can do. And even that pity money that they wanted to give, like $2,000,
the fucking handout, which I feel like is biting us in the ass right now.
Oh,
like this are repercussions, but
you know, I didn't want that. I don't want that pity money.
Neither did I.
Let me make my own money. That $2,000 isn't gonna make up for the months of rent that I paid waiting to get the shop open. Yeah. While it's shut down, everything that I've put into it. You know, it's such bullshit, you know, and it's really unfortunate that things happen like that. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say that it was a very rough time because it burned a lot of bridges between friends and families. Yeah. And here we are. Let's fast forward to 2024 or even 23 for that matter, you know, and here it is, like, now they don't give a shit. If you have COVID now, you're expected to go to work the next day. They okayed that. I'm like, so you're telling me that 2 years of just berating people and keeping them from working for 2 weeks because they had COVID, or giving them shit for not getting a vaccination, like, all of that now is gone. Like, there's no, oh, hey, sorry about all of that. I remember the whole, it's going to be a cold, dark winter for all you unvaccinated people, and I never got sick that entire winter, and I was like still waiting, you know, but here I am being ridiculed by people who I thought were my friends or whatnot, or other people that had family write them off. Like, I had clients tell me like, oh yeah, my mom and sister won't talk to me because I didn't get vaccinated, or I didn't do this, or I did that. And I'm like, who cares? Like, you want to go do it, go do it. You don't want to do it, don't do it. That's the beauty of being free in a country, is having that right to choose what you feel is best for you.
Yeah, you know, I noticed like different outlooks of. I'm surprised that a lot of artists that I've talked to, they didn't tattoo as much during that time, and I know that there are ones that have. And some of the opinions that I got from other artists was a lot of it like, if you respect your clients, you're not going to do this, and da-da-da-da. And there were other artists that said, well, you know what, you should have saved, and da-da-da-da. Well, guess what? We didn't know that this was
Well, here's the thing. Here's what I told the owner of the first shop that I worked at, because that was the reason, that was the inspiration to open up my own shop, was being told like, hey, listen, if your clients are here, or your client wants to get a tattoo, you guys have to wear your masks and stuff all throughout the whole tattoo. And if you want to take a break, then go outside and take a 5-minute breather, and then go ahead and put your mask back on and get back to work. Well, first of all, if me and my client are both cool with not wearing it, then we're not going to wear it. Yeah. If the owner's not there, why should we all wear it? Like, why should me and him wear it? Yeah. Or here's another idea is, if it's so dangerous to be out and about, why the hell are you in here getting a tattoo right now? Yeah. Like, that is not a necessity. Like, you don't need to be here. Like, this can wait. But if you're not worried about your health so much, obviously you're not worried if you're coming in here to get a tattoo. That's just the way I look at it. Yeah. Because you don't need to go grocery shopping. You don't need to, what else you have to do? You know, like, important shit, you know? Yeah. You're just in here trying to get some stupid-ass artwork on you, and you're afraid of being sick. Like, that makes no sense to me. Yeah, there is a big level that, you know, like, let's be real, we can't trust the government, you know, and stuff like that. It's ridiculous to think that they can handle that, because they showed that they couldn't. But, I mean, a lot of responsibility, and one of the things that we're granted, and maybe some people can handle it, is being self-aware and making your own decisions. Yep.
if you're sick, fucking stay home. I
Exactly.
mean, even before COVID.
Yeah, you should be like that anyways.
Yeah,
Like if you're fucking sore throat, you got a cough. First of all, if you got a nasty ass cough, get the hell out of here. Nobody wants to. The worst thing is when you have a client that's sick and they're coughing up a storm. And now it's even worse after COVID because now you're really getting judged by other people. They're like, looking at you like, "Are you sick? Are you gonna give me COVID?" I mean, it seems like it's kind of starting to fade a little bit. But I mean, I remember even sneezing and feeling like I was being looked at wrong. And I'm like, I never felt this way.
Even still a little bit.
Yeah.
Even still a little bit, I get like that. And it's awkward.
Yeah, it shouldn't have to be like that. We never did
Even
that.
if you cough with a mask on.
Yeah.
It's so fucking dumb, man. And my issue I had is, having glasses, they fog up.
Oh, yeah.
So I can't tattoo with them. Even when I'd be on a plane, you have to wear a mask. I'm fucking looking through a hot shower glass.
Yeah.
It was just horrible, and the science proved that it was bad for your health anyway to wear those masks and be breathing like that. And I heard one thing that said that it affected children's development because there's something about seeing people speak, seeing their mouth move that helps them learn.
Well, not only that, but also seeing, I guess, emotion. Like if you're, our kid's principal at the time, he didn't like the masks because he hated not knowing how the kids were feeling or, how they are. Because he's like, you could see their eyes, but you can't really tell how they're feeling. Is where you could see their whole face. They could smile at you, they're doing all right. If they kind of like, the rest of their face shows the rest of their emotion. And it just seemed like it took away a lot of communication and that socialness that kids need to build that. Because I feel like kids nowadays growing up and with video games and TikTok and all this, you don't get interaction, like social interaction. So I feel that they're going to be way more, they're going to deal with anxiety more with social interaction.
Yeah, that's interesting that he had that outlook. That's a good outlook because sometimes we'll wrap this up soon.
No, it's fine.
Okay, cool. Sometimes a lot in schools it feels like there's not enough attention given to the kids. So for him to take that approach and see it like that, it shows a lot. Aside from like financial stuff, I mean, just the effect that it's had on people just mentally, substance abuse problems, abuse in their homes because now these kids were trapped with their abuser.
Yeah, they couldn't just escape to school.
Yeah, it's really horrible.
I never even thought of that until somebody had mentioned it. I was like, oh shit, I forgot about all those broken homes, know?
I already consider myself having an addictive personality, and I mean, the lockdown didn't help me at all.
I drank a lot.
Yeah.
I had nothing. I didn't have to wake up for anything the next day. So I was like, fuck it, I'm going to have a drink.
Yeah.
Even my wife was like, you're seriously going to have a drink right now? I'm like, listen, I have nowhere to be. I'm not working. I'm here at home. Yeah, I'm going to catch a buzz because that's all I can do.
Yeah.
And it drove me nuts sitting at home. But once my friend, she worked at in the OR, she was like, my boss threatened to write me up if I didn't put down that my patient died from COVID, when in reality, they were really old and they were already on their way out. They had cancer. It was inevitable. But because they had, I guess, tested positive for COVID, they were like, it has to be a COVID death. Yeah. And I was like, that's when I was like, I'm going to the store. I'm getting shit. I'm not scared anymore. I'm done. I see where this is going.
Walmart was scary.
They just completely, I felt like they definitely messed with the numbers. So when you'd see the numbers on the news, 300,000 people have had COVID or died from COVID. And I'm like, well, according from people that I've talked to at hospitals, that's not true.
Yeah.
How many were actually, from that and that alone? Mm-hmm. Overdoses, car accidents. If you test positive, it's a COVID death. I'm like, that doesn't make sense. I'm like, so that 300,000 is probably like 100 people. Yeah.
You're a tattoo artist. You're a musician. You have your family. How do you manage your time? How do you manage all that? Do you have a set schedule? Do you have like how many days a week are you doing your music? You're tattooing and just
family life and all that.
How do you manage all that?
Well, I have a really cool woman that lets me do all this shit. Thank God. But I only practice once a week, and typically, or sometimes we'll even take like a couple weeks off. So if I play a show, I already know we're not practicing that next week because they're all drained from that show. But so I practice once a week. So, set a certain day, Monday nights or whatever. And then the rest of the week is all tattoos. And because Kayla's a stay-at-home mom, I don't have to worry about picking up the kids from school, taking them there, or with me to the shop, because I used to do that a lot.
Yeah.
So now that she's home, I get to sit there and work on my tattoo as long as I need to, and then come home. But this whole winter, I've packed my calendar. Like, the only days I didn't work were Saturday and Sunday, but I worked every day, and I expected a lot of cancellations and a lot of reschedule, whatnot, because of winter and holidays. And most of them didn't cancel. So now my thumb hurts. And I need a break. And I'm not getting one anytime soon. But in the summer, I've split up my days more. So instead of doing tattoos every day of the week, it's like 3 tattoos a week.
Yeah.
And if that tattoo that I'm doing Monday needs another day, I'll try to talk him into coming in the next day to finish it. Because I have so many projects that are unfinished, that are just floating around, just waiting to be finished. And it just sucks having to push them out months, to get back to it. And I had a talk with Trevor a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago. We were sitting outside the shop bullshitting, and we were talking about what, kind of like what we feel we need to work on ourselves for tattoos. And I said, because one tattoo he did, it healed up way too light. I was like, dude, you need to go dark. And I was like, trust me, I struggle with the same problem you're having. Is I'm always so afraid to go too dark because you can't bounce back from that. And then when I take the picture of the tattoo and then I go home, I'm like, I should have went darker.
Dark enough, yeah.
It looked darker in person, but on the camera, it's not dark enough.
I hate that. I was just talking to a client yesterday because we did a King Kong on his calf, and I'm trying to take a photo, and I just, after about 4 attempts, I go, fuck this. It just never looks that good.
Yeah, man. And you're like, fuck. So mind you, now, ever since that conversation, well, not only that, but what's his name? He goes by AJ. His name's Alex. He's really fucking good. He works at Sanctuary.
Yeah, he's a killer, dude.
Yeah. So I'm doing a piece on Trevor's stomach, and he's doing his chest. But it was not, like, planned out. He's just like, I just want a piece from you. I want you to do my stomach. Alex has my chest. And I'm like, all right. Well, he goes to Alex. Alex is a little bummed. He's like, shit, man. He's like, I don't know. I'm afraid it's going to look weird up against his work. And he's like, Adam's work's good, right? He's like, I don't have a problem with Adam's work. He's like, the only issue Adam's problem is he doesn't go dark enough. And I was like, Cody Richards said that to me. He's now said that. I know this.
Yeah.
So that right there was like my final push to be like, slow the fuck down, take your time, and don't be afraid to fucking go dark. So ever since that conversation I had with Trevor, I've slowed down substantially. Like, I spent so much time on this piece. I'm like 7 hours, and that's what I got done. But it looks good. I'm like, damn, I'm impressed in myself. Yeah. I'm like, I could see the changes as long as I keep up, like really just concentrating on it and not feeling rushed and really just taking my time. I feel like hearing that from Trevor, saying like from what Alex said about me to him, I was like, I needed that.
Dude, I had the same issue, and I was talking to Michael Perry about it, and I go, he goes, it does need to be dark and stuff. I said, I'm just so nervous. He goes, pound that shit in, dude. He goes, make it dark. And it's one of those things because, like you said, you can't go back. I compare it to like the ketchup bottle. You can pour it out, but you can't put it back in. And, it's hard to see the full picture before you get there, and you're like, fuck, this is black, but you need those contrasts. Even with color, people don't understand that, it's your darks that make your lights bright.
Yep.
You need that dark in there.
I've struggled with a few clients with that too. Is like they want these light ass tattoos where it's like hard to see it, but then they show me these images and I'm like, do you understand why that flower looks so light? Look at the black all around it. That's why. I'm like, but they're too afraid to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what it takes. It's like those blacks bring out those colors. They bring out that.
Yeah. What are you still looking to accomplish with tattooing?
I'm looking to be good and not suck. I just want to be at the level of all of my inspirations. I want to be at that level. And even at that level, I know I'm still going to feel like there's shit to work on, which makes us good artists. I feel.
What artists do you look up to?
There's a few.
What are your top three?
Right now, Ray, he goes by Ray Dems on Instagram, RAYDEM, and it's like dark, creepy shit.
Yeah.
I fucking love it. I went on his Instagram yesterday, saw one of his tattoos, so I just went on there looking like, God damn it, I want to be like that.
Yeah.
And then there's Brandon Herrera.
Yep.
I'm just like, fuck, like he's a huge one.
Yeah, he does a lot of black and gray color infusion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jesse Levitt has always been
of
there.
course.
Victor Portugal. Josh Duffy. I fucking love Josh Duffy.
Dark Horse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where the fuck has he been? Honestly, I follow him on Instagram. He has not posted anything in the last 5 years.
You know, I was thinking about this morning, you know, because, you know, I felt like I was really on it with the posts and stuff and really wanting to be involved in the industry and everything like that. And I mean, if you go on my Instagram, as far as my tattooing, I don't post that much. Maybe I should, but I guess I needed to take a step back from things and just really get back to what I enjoyed about tattooing, which was sitting in my own space and tattooing. And I guess that's the opinion that you had about him that I have for myself, that just like, why haven't I haven't posted in so long, man.
Well, here's the thing though, too. I wanted to ask you, do you ever feel like you're trying to reach this certain level? I don't know, maybe because it's me. I was so hell-bent on getting sponsors from this company, and it consumed me so much that I felt like I wasn't good enough unless I could be sponsored, because then I'd feel like I'm there, I'm part of them, like I feel like my work's up to that point. I don't know, it just kind of like started to consume me to see that, and like seeing you and Josh, like you guys get these sponsorships or whatever with the ink or needles or whatever they have you, and I'm like, fuck, I want that too, but I don't want to, like, let's say Empire Inks. I've been trying so hard to be a part of that fucking fam for so long that now I'm like, I don't even care anymore. I'm done. I'm done trying, because I feel like it's taken away from my quality of work. I need to focus on myself, my art, let my art speak for itself. Yeah. I'm tired of trying to be wanted.
Yes.
I guess.
That's cool that you brought that up, because, you know, me and Josh talked about that. Because he said his Empire sponsorship was his greatest moment so far, and I feel like that was mine. You know, sometimes I think about the shop stuff. I'm like, anybody can file the paperwork to get a shop. I mean, there's artists, there's people that don't tattoo that own shops, but I really wanted the Empire thing. You know, of course, I wanted to get on with other companies. You know, maybe it's out of my league, but like Cheyenne, you know, I really wanted to be on Cheyenne.
Fuck yeah, I wanted to be on FK or Cheyenne. Yeah. Or Inkjecta was huge for me for a moment.
My thing with apprenticeships, or not apprenticeships, with sponsorships is, when I first started tattooing, first off, there wasn't, the industry just wasn't that big. No. You didn't have as many products. The things that you were seeing, you saw Solon, you saw Cheyenne, you know, you were seeing things like that, and you know, I wanted a piece of that. And now, I mean, and look, the only bad motherfuckers were on that, and people that had friends. Yep. When I got the Empire thing, that was awesome. Then I started noticing more people posting about being sponsored, but then I looked at the companies and I'm like, I mean, this is like kind of I wouldn't be proud of that, but I understand that you want to be able to say I'm sponsored by. And then it got to a point where it almost, the value's been degraded because of the way things have been. Because, like, you know, I was telling Josh, you can go on Peak Needle's website and buy a banner. Yeah, that's stupid. I would not do that. And it's weird, because instead of saying sponsored by, it says uses. Yeah. Which I don't like that, because, and it's because of the way we've gotten with product placement. You know, that you want to look professional, or you want to look bigger than you are, and it's using, but now you're not getting any of the benefits of having a sponsorship, which I think a sponsorship should be. I mean, obviously you're getting products and you're putting a lot of work in, and it helps you out.
Yep.
It's nice to get your artwork out there.
Yeah.
It's nice to be able, if you're on a company where you're happy to be there because you know what it's worth, like an Empire or something like that. Now you have access to information, and you're making connects in the industry. And I made a joke about this like years ago when I would show up to these conventions. I started noticing all this shit. I was like, these motherfuckers, they look like NASCARs.
Yeah, so yesterday I saw a dude walk out with a jacket, it had Monster on it, and I swear to God it had a bunch of tattoo brands all over the arms and everything, and I was like, straight up NASCAR driver. I'm like, that is so cheesy.
Yeah, I don't like that shit. And it's kind of like, oh, man, I don't want to be a hater. I don't give a fuck, dude. I say whatever I want.
I feel you.
It's like, I don't want to be a hater, but it's just like, it just looks like
You're
it
trying
just looks
too
like
hard.
some poser shit.
Yeah.
You know, it really looks like some poser shit, you know, and it's just like, I mean, you don't need any of those. If you're a badass, you shouldn't need any of those. I get it that it does mean something to you, and maybe it's how other artists perceive you, but you got to be self-aware, and you got to understand that, like, this looks a little fucking funny.
Right.
You're gonna have banners that say, I'm using this, but guess what? You're not on their Instagram.
Right.
They're not posting you. They don't give a fuck about you. They got your $20.
I was using After Inked Aftercare for a hot minute, and I was tagging them all the time, and they would once in a while share my shit on their page. But I never noticed like that they'd sponsor anybody or anything like that. And then I was talking to Matt Tribom down here, and he had Reborn Aftercare.
Yeah.
And I was like, what's that stuff about? He's like, oh, I really like it. He gave me one to try out and check it out. And I was like, wow, I'm reading the ingredients. I'm like, oh, it's pretty all natural. And I like the consistency of it. After Ink, they changed their consistency, and I didn't like it. I don't know what they did different or anything, but so I started using Reborn, and then I started tagging them all the time. And then the guy would share my stuff in the stories and all this. And I saw that Josh was one time up with them. Matt still, I think, is. And I reached out to the guy. I'm like, screw it. I'm like, how do you inquire about like sponsorships and stuff like that? He's like, well, I'm not really sponsoring anybody right now. He's like, I do like your work a lot, and if I decide to sponsor anybody, I will get in contact with you. And then a couple months later, I'm on vacation, and he goes, what's your email? I'm going to send you a form. And I was like, what? This is the first time I ever got a sponsorship.
Yeah.
My whole month was like, fuck yeah, like, all right, cool, I'm on something, you know? And I got to meet him. You know, I went out there to Minnesota by him and worked, and the guy's cool as hell. I'm like, all right. And he's a small little company, and I don't mind helping out the small, companies out like that, because I feel like he has promise. You know, like I believe in the company and what he stands for and everything. And that was the same thing with Empires. Like, I love that not only were a lot of my friends and peers with them, but it was like for the artist, by the artist.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is awesome. And not to mention, Colton's right up there in Appleton. He's local. So I was like, that's even cooler. I was like, I just want to be a part of the fam, you know? I don't even consider it a company. I consider it more of like a family-based thing, because he brings everybody together for these things and outings. And it'd be pretty hard for me to commit to some of those. I get it, but it's just like, I always wanted to be a part of that. And he has a couple times shared my stuff on their direct site, not just the stories. Yeah. But it's just like, damn, dude, I've been fucking sporting you guys since 2016. I'm like, I still use it. I mean, I love it, but it's like, I don't know. I've I got to stop fucking caring about that and just focus on my work.
Yeah, I believe, because you have to believe in a product too.
Yeah.
And dude, I mean, even before I got my sponsorship, I was showing everybody the shit, man.
Yeah.
I was like, you got to try these inks out. You got to try these
Yeah, I remember you were showing me that. So you were the one who got me onto Empire. I think even Josh too. if I'm not mistaken.
That's what he said.
Yeah, because you were working at the shop with us, and that's what you used. You're like, oh, I really like these guys. And then I think you gave me a set, a gray set or whatever, a gray wash or something, or maybe even just a few bottles. I can't remember. And then ever since then, I just used them. I never stopped, you know. And then they would always comment on my tattoos too, and I thought that was awesome because you ain't getting no FK irons commenting on your shit.
Give me 1 second. We'll be right back.
Yeah. Fun.
All right, we're back.
We're here.
You know, that's a thing. That's the one thing that I was telling Josh that I really like about Colt is that he cares.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if that guy will tell you what's going on in the industry. He's really involved with what's going on with you know, the regulations on ink and stuff like that, and that's important. You know, I would get hit up on Instagram by just like little companies, and I mean, let's be real. Most of the time, if someone's reaching out to you, they need you more than you need them. But if you have a legitimate company, you know you're doing something right. So I remember it was like an aftercare company, and I think it was from like England.
Yeah.
And they sent me a product, and I really didn't like it, but when you're so focused on having a sponsorship, you know, you have to believe in the product.
Yeah.
And you got to know that the products that they're sending you over, because let's be real, there's a few products from big name companies that have the budget to do the research.
Yep.
To not only know that it's safe, but in the long run, it's going to be of good quality. So to get hit up by a small company, be like, sweet, I'm sponsored. What's in the product?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what's in the product? No. But you're fucking putting it in people's skin. You're posting their stuff. They're getting, you know, and now you're spreading bullshit.
Yeah.
You know, so my look on, I'm proud of just having the Empire thing. You know, that's good enough for me.
That's you know what, to be honest, I think that's as far as I'd take it, is aftercare and ink. I don't want a sponsorship from a machine company or maybe even a needle. I mean, because there's always different brands that come out, like different needles or different machines. I don't want to be stuck with one brand machine to have to use. And when I was talking to Jose Perez Jr. when he was tattooing me, he said that he hated being sponsored. He didn't hate it. It wasn't the same being sponsored by FK Irons. He's like, I got out of that. He's like, it was too much of you have to do this, you have to do that. Like, you have to post on this time, you have to do this. Like, he was like, so like, if I wasn't doing it, you know, it's like, it's too much of a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
So I get that.
Yeah. I mean, when it comes to machines, I mean, that thing lasts so long, you really don't need, you know. The industry just grew so big, and there's really no, there's not enough checks and balances, and especially with, you know, these companies that are coming on because they can just get a booth at a convention, you know. So there's a lot of just fuckery going on.
Yeah.
And when I think about the tattoo sponsorships versus like a music gear endorsement, there's less companies, there's less off-brand companies. The people, when they do get those endorsements, they're more in touch with the companies that they're endorsed by. Yeah. And it just seems a little tighter, and that there's a little bit more just awareness, I guess you could say. Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to say anybody should be regulated, but I think people should just be aware. They should make sure they do their due diligence to educate themselves. Absolutely. And put their maybe their ego. It's hard to dream and want something, and then you get something that's pretty fucking close, and then sit there and have to push something away. Push something that you think like, man, this is cool. Now I get to tell my friends I'm sponsor and you know, do all that, but just do good tattoos. Yeah, that's all. That's what it comes down to. It's like, man, if you're good enough, I mean, this is just me, I don't want to have to keep reaching out to people and asking for shit. I just feel that's so weird. I want them to believe in me. I want them to see my work and be like, Adam, we like your stuff. We see that you are in it to win it.
you're progressing. It's not like you're getting any worse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we'd love to have you on board. We like your style. Like, that's the type of shit that I would prefer. I just feel so wrong going, can I be part of the team?
Yeah, it's
What do I have to do? And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, that just sounds like I'm begging, and I don't want to beg. I want you to want me. I want to be wanted. Like,
Yeah.
if you don't want me, then don't have me. If
Yeah.
you truly believe in me, then fuck yeah, that's awesome. That's kind of how, that's like my new outlook on it. It's like, I'm tired of chasing something down. I'm like, I need to worry about my tattoos, not worrying about being accepted in some sort of certain way. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
know.
How can people set up an appointment with you?
Email mfgilley, Gilley, tattoos, at gmail.com.
What? How long should somebody expect to wait before they get hit back?
I'm pretty fast.
Okay.
Literally within a day, if that.
Better than me.
Yeah. Unless I'm on a vacation, then
Yeah.
they might be waiting a week. But I get to them pretty fast. And at the moment, I'm booking out September. So,
Really?
yeah.
Congratulations. dude.
Thanks.
I can't.
I've been
don't
hearing
wa-
that a lot about people.
My thing about it is because maybe it's just the way that I've lived so much. Just
You don't
being
know where you're gonna
nomadic.
be?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't want an opportunity to come up, especially like now that like I'm getting into comedy and stuff. Like I want to be free so that I can go do some mics, not to worry about
Yeah, it sucks planning shit.
a big thing, or maybe something I want to go do is in a couple months and stuff like that. So I just feel a lot better just booking out maybe like a month at a time.
Yeah.
And if I can,
But what do you do when you get hit up too much? Like, if there's a bunch of people that are booking and all of a sudden you've reached your month, do you just close your books?
no, then I'll try to stack them and I'll just
Yeah.
work myself to death.
Oh man.
Working makes sure that I don't fucking off myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I tell them, dude, we all get depressed.
Yeah.
But I tell motherfuckers, I go, as long as I got an appointment, I'm going to be there, bro.
yeah, yeah, right. I won't leave you hanging, especially
Yeah.
on some unfinished stuff.
I won't leave myself hanging
Yeah.
for your appointment.
Yeah, I won't leave myself hanging for you.
Yeah. So something that most people might know, you tried stand-up a couple months ago.
I did. I loved it. I want to do it again. It's just so fucking hard. Because for here, if I do it here, it's every Monday, and I have band practice on Mondays. And then when I don't have band practice, the wife's like super ecstatic, and it's even harder to leave the house. So it's like, I want to do it again, and I want to do it more in a setting with people who aren't comics. Because when I was up here, I felt like I was being judged by every one of those comics up there.
You know what it is, bro? It's because you're the only one on stage.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is.
No, that don't bother me so much. I feel if I had a room of freaking people that aren't stand-up, I'll be all right.
Yeah.
Like, I was sweating, but I felt like I held my own for
It's
a
cool.
moment.
I mean, you already had the stage presence. I told you, bro. I was like,
Oh, I
You
have
looked- you
so
looked good up there,
I
bro.
have my phone is full of stand-up ideas.
Really?
Full of stand-up
Wow, bro.
ideas. I have in my notes stand-up ideas, and then it doesn't even make sense because it'll be like sentences. It's not one big story. It's just talk about picking up dog shit in the yard.
Yeah.
But then kind of go off on a tangent about this because I'll be picking up dog shit and I'll be like, it's like a goddamn scavenger hunt, only it's not fun. It smells.
That's how I do it in my notes too. Is I'll just put like a keyword,
Yep.
and then just put those after, so I kind of know how the story's gonna go.
Yes.
So that way I don't get like locked into the story, and it leaves me the ideas, so I can just plug and play with words, and I'm just staying within these topics to
Yeah.
do it. Let's see. What is there anything that you want to tell people that are looking to get tattooed or they've been getting tattooed that would make the artist and their life easier if they knew?
Well, I guess it's like do your homework on the artist. Make sure that their style is what you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
That is first and foremost. Is people are so easy to walk in and be like, just do it. And you're like, did you see my work? Well, no. Well, what kind? And then all of a sudden, what if they want a traditional style?
Mm-hmm.
Dude, I don't do that. You wanted to book this appointment. You're ready to throw down the money. And I had to ask you what style, and you show me this, and I can't do it. It's a good thing I didn't take that money, But
Yeah.
I mean, just find the right artist and give them an idea, but let them have play.
Yeah, that's really hard for some artists to do, is to turn people away.
I do it all the time.
Dude, same, because I feel like I want to make sure the client leaves with more information they came in with.
Yeah.
And even if you're not, because they'll come in, they'll be like, dude, I want you to do my tattoo. You're perfect. And then same thing, you'll see it and you're like, it's not my thing. And if there's somebody in your shop, cool, we'll keep the money in-house. But, I'll send it to somebody else, because they're going to go, I hit up this person to get this tattoo. He said he was the right guy for the job, but he sent me to this guy. I got a great piece. Well, guess what? You still built trust with that person. And when it's time, they're going to go to you, or they're going to send, their people to you. Yeah. Building that trust with clients. I don't like when artists, I'm not saying I'm never guilty of it, but I don't like when artists bullshit the client so they don't have to do something, or so they can get their way. Yeah. Educating the people getting tattooed is only going to help other artists. It's going to help you. Yeah. And it's going to start just helping the clients get better tattoos, man. Educate them, because they don't know. They don't tattoo, and they only know what they see. Like, they'll bring a tattoo in, and they're like, they want a little portrait of a lion, and I'm like, that's fresh. That's not healed.
Yeah, you want to know what that shit looks like when it's healed? Guarantee you there's hardly a line
that's
there.
Fine. I don't have a problem getting it touched up. Well, I don't want to fucking touch it up because you shouldn't do this in the first place. And I tell them, too. I go, listen, I said, this is why it won't work out. I said, and I'm going to let you know ahead of time that, and I'm not saying because my opinion's final, but I feel like I've seen enough to where I have a valid opinion. And I'll tell them, listen, you can go other places. I said, chances are, if they go and do it, they just want your money. Yep. They won't tell you these things.
I did a finger tattoo on this guy right here in his ring finger, and it was a skull in the shape of a heart, or whatever. And it had, like, some purple behind it, like glow. And I told him, like, hand tattoos, finger tattoos, those are all hard to stick. And he's like, no worries, let's just do it anyways. Fuck it, who cares? I was like, all right. I did it. That thing is, like, not there now. Like, he showed me how it healed. I was like, I'm going to take a picture of this because I want other people to see firsthand how this shit healed up, I have no problem showing how my work did not stick in this guy's finger, because I have that conversation all the time with people. They want, like, even on the side, that's even harder. Yeah.
They go and they go, well, it's on my body, I don't mind, but it's like, listen, my name's on it.
Yeah. If it looks like garbage, where'd you get that from? Adam. Holy shit, Adam did that? I expect better. Well, no, it's just a spot where he chose to get tattooed. Yeah. The guy works on cars all day. Like, he ain't gonna have a good tattoo.
It's winter, dude. Your hands are cracked. And there's just some things that it sounds better in your head than, the concept. It's better in your head than it is in reality, and the practicality of it. And especially working on something that, this isn't a canvas. This is something that your skin's constantly regenerating itself, and it's gonna look different depending on how much sun they get and how well they take care of themselves, and just all these other factors. It just makes the job more difficult. So to have that, and then having to work with somebody who's just hard-headed and they don't want to hear it, because they know they're gonna go to some other guy who's not gonna tell them that shit, and they're gonna do it. Yep. And guess what? I'm not fixing that shit when you fucking come back.
Right. I had a girl do that. She drove 6 hours to come get tattooed from me, and at that time, a few years ago, that was, like, awesome. I was like, damn, she's traveling 6 hours. That's cool. She gets down there, and she wanted to dictate everything of the tattoo. And it was, again, she wanted the bird to face her, a little blue jay. I fucking shot myself in the foot. I did this realistic blue jay. It took me 2 hours to do this little fucker. And, well, mind you, I didn't want to say argued, but we were back and forth. I was like, don't put it upside down. Don't put it upside down. Well, it's not yours. It's mine. It's my tattoo. It's what I want. I'm like, listen, I'm telling you, like, it's fine. I'll do it upside down if you want. But when people see it, they're going to see it upside down. When you're, same thing, handing out money, grabbing anything. When you're showing somebody, it's going to be a pain. And she's like, it's still my tattoo. She was being very hard-headed. So she's like, babe, what do you think? He's getting tattooed by Ailish. And he goes, listen to your tattoo artist. My man. What did she do? She got it the right way. And I was like, thank you. It took me 2 hours, and I had told her in Messenger that it would not take too long. It'd probably cost her like $60.
I think that just goes to show that you just need a man in the room.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, right? See what happens when there's not a man in the room? Girl would have had it upside down. probably would have regretted it.
She won the bird facing her. Fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Do you have any shows coming up?
I do. April 19th at 1175, we are playing a headlining show with this band called The Suffering and Bless the Martyr.
Tight.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to make that.
It'll be fun. It's at 18. Cool. I think it's 18 and up. $10 online at the ticket, whatever. Through the door, I think it's just a little bit more expensive. Might be like 12 or 15. I'm stoked because I know a lot of my friends out there will be there. It's just going to be a huge fucking party.
That's awesome, dude.
Yeah.
I'm proud of you. I've known you so long, man. I'm so proud of everything that you've accomplished, man. I'm so happy that you agreed to do everything and that you opened up about these things and just was open about your life and everything. And I wish you nothing but success with your band, your tattoo shop, your family, and everything.
Fuck
dude.
yeah, man.
Thank you so much, man.
It's a pleasure to getting to know you over the years and share, spaces and all this stuff. Like, it's just wild. It's crazy how everything comes around and the connection you make within, your group and stuff like that, and the people you still hang on to over the years. It's like you keep the ones who are worth. It's like, and it helps boost you.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's an honor to be here. I'm stoked. I always, anytime you ask me, like, you want to do stand-up? Dude, I'm totally down. Hey, you want to do a podcast? Absolutely. It's fun.
Awesome, bro. I appreciate that, dude.
Hell yeah.
Dude, this is great, man. Thank you.
Hey, thank you.